It's 2022 and New Zealand has been closed to the world for 2 years. Nobody could come in apart from critical workers. Nobody could go out because you didn't have a chance of getting back in again. But this week, Jacinda announced to the world that the New Zealand borders were about to open. And support these businesses. And I think that's what that man meant when he said that. It was like Kiwis coming.
Yeah.
They spend money.
That's what they do because they're on their holidays.
Yeah.
It's like they know how much things cost.
Yeah.
Because
in this week's show, we're going to jump in and explore 6 things that are going to make travelling to New Zealand and from New Zealand a lot different than we've been used to.
It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we're going to be talking to you about 7 things that New Zealand are going to see big changes on in 2022.
Yep.
This is to do with the recent announcement of the borders opening in New Zealand and the 5-stage step and how that's going to affect the country.
Yep.
If you haven't been to the channel before, we're Liz and Brian, husband and wife. We talk about all things travel.
Yeah, which we haven't been really able to talk about much over the last sort of 2 years, but apart from a bit of New Zealand travel and things.
Yeah,
so,
which is the best kind of travel.
We're super excited about what's happening.
We are super excited, and we talk about travel and all things New Zealand, moving to New Zealand, living in New Zealand, and basically just a couple of Brits living in New Zealand that love the country and love to travel. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, you're in the right place. So number 7, we've got 7 points, and number 7 is actually what me and Brian plan to do in 2022. 2022, that's right, isn't it?
We plan to do it in 2021, but
Yeah.
we plan to do it in 2022.
So
now.
if you want to know our plans and how this announcement about the border opening has affected our lives, then hang around till number 7 and we'll share some of our private lives with you. But before we jump into that, let's just jump into that.
Let's just jump into it, yep.
Can I just say as well, we're not going to go through the 5 stages of,
the advice of what's happening.
Yeah.
We will
We're not
talk
gonna
about
do
a little
that.
bit about it, but we're not going to talk about that.
If you want to know about that, go and check out New Zealand Pocket Guide. They are another YouTube channel. They're absolutely brilliant.
They're very good, aren't they?
Well done, guys. You're
Yep.
really doing a great job keeping people informed about, and they made a brilliant video. Big shout out to them. They made a brilliant video called New Zealand Borders Opening Announcements, and the guy on it just breaks everything down step by step. So if that's what you need and you need to know it,
jump in
go and see them.
It's an easy way to see it than watching through hours of Jacinda talking.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. So go and check those guys out. I'll put a link in the description as well. Right, number 1 thing that's going to change massively in 2022 is dun dun dun, dun. Kiwis can finally return home.
Yes.
To see their family.
Which has been a bit of a sticking point for a lot of people. Like we talk to people and they go, I've got family back and they're stuck over in Australia or they're stuck in the UK or America or around the world,
Do you know, Bri, 1 million Kiwis live overseas?
Yes.
1 million Kiwis.
Yeah.
That's really hard to imagine, isn't it?
No, because the Irish are pretty similar.
I know, but
and a lot of Norwegians. These countries with population are like 4 to 5 million. It's like they have that sort of feel about them where a lot of people just they want to get up and get out and earn some decent money in other countries. Not that you can't earn decent money here, but you can get better money overseas. So that's why they go, isn't it? And it's just to change it out, or they meet someone,
they marry someone and they move over. I suppose the reason I'm so shocked when I say 1 million Kiwis live because it's like, to me, it's like we moved to New Zealand, so we did everything we could to move to this country. Why would you want to leave? So 1 million people want to leave. We should do a podcast about that, like why Kiwis leave New Zealand. Shouldn't we? That'd be really interesting.
We don't really look into it. It's like, we know why you want to come here because, most people have seen Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But, that's what this is great about the things that are going to change.
Yeah.
It's like the Kiwis can come home. Because you don't think of it like that, do you? You think, well, they've left. They never want to come back.
I know.
But they've got family here.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? And it's just like, and you don't realise how many times that people travel. And, and this travelling has a huge knock-on effect to the economies, doesn't it?
Can you just stop? I told you at the beginning, I said, we're going to be talking about this in point 5.
How'd you get Liz going?
No, I know, but you've just... Can you just contain yourself, please, and stop looking at my list?
Let me just have a look at the list.
Stop. So yeah, I mean, we don't need to tell you. I mean, you know what's going on in New Zealand, and the fact that Kiwis are stranded overseas and they can't get home.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we get people commenting on it all the time and telling us these stories about, you know, they've got funerals they wanted to go to. They haven't seen their mum for, you know.
It's just if mum and dad have been ill or whatever, like,
yeah.
you know. It's,
and so that news that came, it must have just been such a... and they don't have to go into MIQ.
No, and that's it. Because straight off, there's, you know, I think it's 27th. This all kicks in on the 27th of February, isn't it? So, you know, there's obviously lots of different stages. And I don't want to go and give you advice and think, because, you know, I haven't got the list in front of me.
No, leave that to New Zealand Pocket Guide. They're brilliant. They've done it absolutely fantastic.
There you go. Mention Pocket Guide again. I bet they won't mention it's a drama, will they?
Oh, Brian, that's a little bit...
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but us
if
New
you
Zealand
give,
YouTubers
you receive.
stick together, don't we?
Yes, we do,
That's
Brian.
the idea. We're not against each other.
Sometimes I worry about you, honestly, I do.
I worry about myself most of the time.
Be kind, like Jacinda says, Brian, yeah.
Come on, team. Team of YouTubers, here we go.
Right, okay, so yeah, they can return home. Number 2 thing that's gonna change massively with this announcement is that expats,
Yep, like us.
not mentioning any names or anything,
Yep.
can go home and see their families.
Yep. Yeah, but my dad is 87, and you know, so I haven't seen him for 4 years now.
No.
And you know, it's that's that side of it. You just, you know, you want to go back, and like every couple of years, you know, you want to try and get back home, like, you know, and home back to see your folks and my sister over there.
Yeah.
You know, and for nieces and nephews that I haven't seen, and you've got your side of the family that we haven't seen.
I have.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be great for doing.
Yeah.
Is just to get back home.
Yeah. Because the thing is, and I found, I honestly, I can't, again, I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but people over there, they were in this MIQ lottery thing, weren't they, Brian?
Yeah.
And they couldn't, so you could leave New Zealand.
So MIQ, managed isolation, quarantine.
Yeah, you could leave New Zealand, but there was no guarantee that you could get back in. So obviously you're not going to do that because people have got jobs and lives and things like that. So it was just, it put everything on hold.
Yep.
And yeah, so now to know that you can go over and see your friends and family and your loved ones, it's just... it gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps.
It's unbelievable.
It
isn't
is,
when you think about it, because you just don't think of it like that. You just think, oh, you know, that's all right. We just closed the borders and we're all safe over here. But you just forget about the people that when the borders were closed, because they couldn't get home.
No, what do you mean? Oh no, I know. That's why we couldn't go, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just like you know, we used to, like, there's nothing stopping you leaving New Zealand, but you
that's
just couldn't get back.
Yeah.
It's just
Who
like,
have you missed the most?
What?
You're going to have to say your dad, really,
it's
aren't
my
you?
dad, yeah.
You're going to have to say your dad.
My dad.
I don't mean you're going to have to say it, like out of duty, but...
Yeah, my dad was on the chase, so everybody knows the chase. And
can you believe that, Brian's dad on the chase?
He was 85 when he went on the chase. I think
hammered them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did really well. So, you know...
That's where Brian gets his brains from.
There you go.
Right, number 3, a thing that's going to change in the coming year with this announcement is the fact that New Zealand tourism and businesses can get back on their bloody feet again and start doing what they should be doing.
In 2018, 2019, there was a record amount of people that came to New Zealand. You know, it's just New Zealand was the place to come and visit, like, you know. And then this has happened, and you know, with the borders closing, and you know, saved thousands and thousands of lives, which it has done. It's, you know, a lot of people go, oh yeah, but the facts are, it did.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in step number 6 about the whole mental health thing about it as well. So yeah,
but there's so many people invested money into tourism. So you know, we went down to Queenstown not so long back, didn't we? 18 months ago, and it was just like the place was it just felt like you're walking around New Plymouth, where normally it'd be buzzing.
What are you trying to say?
No, like, well, New Plymouth's not busy, is it? It's lovely and quiet.
Pumping.
No, it's rocking for New Zealand.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, there you go.
You know.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon, tumbleweed. And it's really quiet. But what I'm trying to say is it can be full of Japanese tourists, Australian tourists, Chinese tourists, American tourists, you know, European tourists. And it just had none of these people there.
I know.
You know, not even the Australians, because, you know, we were closed all the borders, even to Australia.
Tessa's just leaving. I'm just waving
Yeah.
goodbye. Sorry. Yeah, but I've got a story to tell about that though, Brian.
Okay.
We went down to Dunedin.
Yes, on the South Island.
Yeah, on the South Island in. Of course, they're going to know where that is.
November. Well, not everyone's from New Zealand, are they?
No. Okay. Oh, yeah. Good point. Aren't they?
I know we live here.
What? This isn't the world.
Yeah, but we've got people from, I don't know,
I know,
Brazil.
I'm just joking. Yeah. So, yeah, it's, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, we were down in Dunedin and we were staying in Port Chalmers and we went to this shop in Port Chalmers and we were talking to the guy in there and he said, and I was saying, oh, has it really hit business hard? You know, thinking that he was going to say, oh, it's just been awful. He said though, Bri, he goes, to be honest, we've loved it. He said, no, he did, Bri.
Yeah.
And he said, because what happens in Port Chalmers is
Yeah.
these cruise ships come in.
Mm-hmm.
He said up to 10 cruise ships a day can come in.
Yeah.
Do you think that's right? 10 cruise ships?
I wouldn't think it was 10 cruise ships because not
Maybe
funny.
I got that wrong.
If you get one cruise ship in, there's thousands of people all of us.
No.
Port Chalmers is tiny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this beautiful little port
Yeah.
just outside Dunedin and we were staying there.
Yeah.
No, this is what he said. He said you'd get all these people coming in on the cruise.
Yeah.
He said, and they'd just be looking around the shop, picking things up, not spending any money because they were on the cruise.
Bearing in mind in Port Chalmers,
The rich people are always the worst, aren't they?
Oh,
You're
they're
rich
all
if
the
you go
worst,
on a
yeah,
cruise.
because they're looking, they're like,
Not
I'm
gonna
spending all my
spend
money on my
any-
cruise,
I know,
I'm not going to spend it on your
exactly.
shop. But there's only about 6 shops in Port Chalmers, isn't there?
No.
So, yeah, but it was really, wasn't it, when
No,
you think
it's
about
loads
it?
more than 6.
Well,
Up and down the
well,
strip.
Yeah, I know, but the strip's not big, is it? Like,
No.
by any stretch of the
But listen, let me
imagination.
finish the story. So, yeah, he said, and the woman up the road with a cafe, she's not happy either because what they used to do, all the cruisies, go... I'm sorry, this is supposed to be a positive podcast. But no, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
He said they'd go in the cafe, order a cup of tea, sit there on the Wi-Fi for like an
Yeah,
hour and a
'cause, like,
half.
yeah, there's no Wi-Fi on the boat.
Yeah, taking up all the Wi-Fi
Yeah,
usage.
yeah.
You know, and just having a cup of tea. And he said, no. He said, we don't miss the tourists. I thought, oh, my God.
Yeah, but can you imagine though going from like just having a normal day where you're kind of busy and there's a regular tourist and the cruise ship comes in, it's just like bang, there's 2,000-3,000 people just all of a sudden ascend on the town.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, they want to go here, there and
And
everywhere,
it's
don't
true
they?
because me and Brian went on a cruise for Brian's 40th. I took him on a cruise
It's
to
a long
see.
time ago.
Well, it wasn't. It was just 10 years ago. When we went on, and a few bits,
Yeah.
and a few more. Well, we went on this cruise to see the Northern Lights in Norway, wasn't it?
Yep, yep.
And it's true because you've spent so much money, and on a cruise you get all your thingies thrown in, don't you? All your meals and everything. It's all
Yep.
part of the package.
Yeah, it is.
You're not going to go and spend $20
No.
on
So-
a
yeah,
lunch
on a yeah,
when
you're
you know
not.
you can go back to the
Yeah.
boat and have afternoon
somewhere
tea for
decent.
free. So yeah, how about that then?
Yeah, no, and that's what has been missing, and that's a huge influx of money, isn't it, coming into the country?
Well,
know?
we've just said the opposite, but
Yeah.
no, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
But
Because people buy, you know, bits of art and stuff like that, local
Yeah,
stuff,
they
don't
do.
they? And they buy a bit of greenstone.
But
and
can I just
all
say
that.
though, Bri, what number are we on? Have we got time? Can I say this?
Oh, go on.
Listen.
Listen.
Listen to this. Do you know what? It's made me so proud how New Zealanders,
Yeah.
and I know we haven't had any other choice, but we've really taken and supported New Zealand, taken holidays, Bri, in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, you have to. Cause,
I know,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is it's been lovely to do that and see our own country, you know,
Yeah.
and to spend money in our own country and support these businesses. And I think that's what that man meant when he said that. It was like Kiwis coming.
Yeah.
They spend money,
That's what they
you
do
know?
because they're on their holidays.
Yeah.
It's like they know how much things cost
Yeah.
because there's nothing worse than seeing something for $10 and, you know, you're American and you go, oh, it's $10 and you're not
Don't
realising.
target the Americans.
Well, I'm just saying because their currency is. I mean, the
Yeah.
Australians, the currency is pretty similar to ours. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the Canadians,
Maybe
it's
it's the
similar
Brits
to
that
ours.
are coming over on the cruise, though. Where do you think they're
but
coming
no,
from?
Mainly Americans, isn't it?
Yeah?
But yeah, and Japanese and Chinese.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I suppose they're all people.
It's all people, isn't it? But it's just, you know, they don't, you know, you don't really, you know, naturally just saying, oh, $10. That's you know, $5.50 or whatever it is. You know, you don't look at it.
I don't
like
really
that,
know
do
what
you?
you're talking about.
I'm
You've
just
lost
trying to
me.
say it's the exchange rate, you know. It's so that's why they
Oh.
don't spend it straight away, but then they'll go and spend it on hundreds of dollars worth of stuff like a sheepskin or something, won't they?
Oh, I always
Yeah.
want to buy one of them. Whenever we go travelling, I wish I had the money to just buy those beautiful, you know, those big rugs that they sell in all the tourist shops. And you look
Yeah.
at them and you're like, oh, I'd love one of those. Like one of those really, you know, really
Yeah, and they'll
lovely.
package it up for you and post it and everything,
Yeah.
won't they? Like, you know, be waiting for you when you get
So
back.
gorgeous. And I always imagine it in the winter and just snuggling down in front of the fire on that lovely
Yeah.
sheepskin. It'd just be really nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, so all that to say, basically, businesses start
Start to get back to normal.
Tourism's going to be
It's
great.
what we need. We all know this, but it's just, this is great. If you're thinking of coming to New Zealand, that's what's going to be great.
And you know what? I think it's great for you as well to have, I hope it's great for you anyway, to have us on the ground in New Zealand telling you what it's been like, in New Zealand.
Well, to be honest, for us personally, the last 2 years, there's so many businesses and people that have struggled,
Yeah, Tess, my daughter, just went to Taupō and she went and did the bungee jump. They went camping up there on, by the lake.
Yeah.
I'll tell people where Taupō is.
Taupō is right slap bang in the centre of the North Island.
Yeah.
It's the sort of place you come from Auckland, which is the top of the North Island, and if you're heading down to Wellington on your road trip, that's the way that you go. Like, you don't tend to come around the Capes like we are in Taranaki and Gisborne.
Yeah, it's a huge tourist destination. So she goes there and they've got these big bungee jumps over the river. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the only cliff jumps in New Zealand, I think, because the rest of them are either on bridges or cranes or whatever it is.
And the guy, she was talking to the guy, and who does.
I'll actually put a bit of video up of her doing her actual jump.
Yeah, do that. That'd be really good, wouldn't it?
She paid the $50
Yeah, we got
for the
video. And she's talking to the guy and she's like, oh, so do you get to jump? Do you get to do bungee jumping? And he said, at the moment, he said, we can bungee jump. He said, but that's not what we want to do. He said, we should be putting like 5 people, something like, I don't know, 5 people an hour through.
It was a lot, actually. I think it was 30 an hour at once.
Was it?
Yeah, that's something like that. Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount,
And he said at the moment we're only doing, I don't know what it was, 2 an hour. So he just said, we're just kicking our heels.
Yeah. They're just ticking over, basically, just trying to survive.
And I'm so happy for those businesses, to know that it's going to come back.
Yeah,
and
that's
people
what you come to New Zealand to do, isn't it?
It's just like, yes!
Skydiving, bungee jumping, jet boating, all those brilliant things that you just,
I think they should make it a requirement of cruises. I'm not being mean to cruising.
Everybody has to bungee jump on the same bungee jump.
You've got to buy lunch in a cafe and you've got to do a bloody bungee jump.
Can I just say that story when we were in Norway, and it's my 40th birthday present off Les, and my brother was on it as well, and we were just all walked into a lift, and it said maximum capacity was 12, and there was about 8 of us in the lift at the elevator, as they call it, and the doors closed, and then it went beep beep beep. overweight. And it wouldn't budge until, me and Liz just looked at each other and said, come on, we'll get out. And we left all the big people in there to go to the next flight. Literally, it was only going up 1 story or whatever it was to the next deck or something.
They've been on the cruise. What do you expect? You always put a couple of stone on the cruise, don't you?
I'm just saying. But it made me laugh so much because it was just like, oh my God, it's supposed to be maximum of 12 and there was only 8 of
only
us.
4.
And, me and Liz were the youngest there. We just thought, okay, we'll get out, shall we?
All right, okay, now moving on then. So number 4, people can move to New Zealand, they can start a new life in New Zealand, and they can bring much needed skills to New Zealand.
Yep. So from July onwards, it starts to change, and then it really opens up in October time. And it might bring that October one forward, all going well, because, we know that this virus thingy is going to be with us for the rest of our life, so it's got to be like, we've just got to carry on as normal now, haven't we? Like, it's not going to go away. We're
actually really excited about this point because, as some of you know, we run a New Zealand community, a private New Zealand community, and we've been watching. It's what it is a New Zealand package about moving to New Zealand, living in New Zealand, and it's all the information you need about moving and living in New Zealand. And part of that package is a private Slack group. And we've sat for the last year, it's been running for about a year, and we've sat watching, some people have come over, like the nurses and, critical health workers. Yes. But we've sat watching these people and my heart goes out to them because it's like, we can't, the borders are closed.
I've got a job, but I can't come in,
and it's just been an emotional roller coaster for them. So happy for the people who want to, like us, want to start a new life in this gorgeous country and bring skills.
Bring the skills, New Zealand needs skills, it really does. Like, we've got some great people over here, but there's specialist stuff that is going to take New Zealand 5-6 years to train them up, and these people want to move over and bring the skills with them. And there's critical workers. We're low on critical workers like nurses and doctors, and because the trouble is that the New Zealanders tend to get trained here, then they bugger off and go to
Yeah.
either the UK or Australia or something,
Yeah.
so we need to replace those people. And it's true. I mean, a lot of people, this, that and the other, we don't need these people. It's like, well, actually,
said that?
we do, people just do,
What, saying they don't need critical workers?
But they don't need these skilled migrants.
What about
I
you?
suppose. Well,
Imagine if you hadn't have come to this country.
I know. It's the thing.
What a sad little place this would be if Brian hadn't been the plumber in New Zealand.
All those people that wouldn't have had a heating system.
Exactly,
There's hundreds of warm houses now in New Plymouth.
Yeah.
Hundreds
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Don't be thinking that you haven't brought any critical work to New Zealand.
I know how to dig a drain or two.
Aw. Anyway, and also if you haven't signed up for our New Zealand free New Zealand Living in New Zealand guide, that's absolutely free. That one, sign up. I'll put the link up above, and you can sign up for that.
Yep.
And that will take you to the private Slack group.
Yep.
At the end of it.
I'll put up, if you want to watch what it was like for me when I first came to New Zealand.
Oh, as a plumber, yeah.
Then it's going to be here. Look, search for this one on our channel.
Just copying me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you go like this.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right, okay, listen, number 6. Oh, no, don't start saying listen. I hate it when I do that.
Listen.
That's a really bad habit of mine.
Yeah.
Listen.
So it's like for me all my
because I
life.
homeschooled for 10
listen.
years. It's like, this is what I've got used to. Yeah, listen. Right. So, number 5. Kiwis can travel again.
Yay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
So me and Liz are actually Kiwis because we are New Zealand citizens.
Yes.
So we are Kiwis.
We can.
now. Yeah.
Do you know, 88% of Kiwis, I read this statistic when I was doing my research, want to leave.
Big word to say, statistic.
Statistics. They want to leave New Zealand to go travelling. If you've never been to New Zealand, you've never met Kiwis, just know this about Kiwis. They're huge travellers.
They're good, well-travelled
They're
people.
very well-travelled
They are,
people,
yeah.
And wherever you go in the world, you'll meet a Kiwi. And it really surprised us when we came here. I don't want to say Brits aren't well-travelled, but
Brits are well-travelled,
yeah,
but
it
it's a different,
surprised
isn't
me.
it?
Yeah. You'd come over here and you'd be like, oh yeah, when we went to Thailand, we went to Thailand, or when we went to Sri Lanka, we went over there on OE. They've just travelled a lot.
They do, yeah. And
So-
there's people like there's even like New Zealand people have been in the armed forces and stuff. They travel so much because they tend to they know they're coming back to New Zealand because they've been on overseas duties, so they'll take 6 months off and do a bunch of travelling around, and make sure they travel back home,
Yeah.
a zigzag way.
I think what it is, like you say, is because New Zealand is so far
It's
away
so far
from
away,
everywhere.
isn't it? Yeah. So make the most of it.
You're
don't
going to
they?
make the most of it.
Yeah.
You're not just going to go over and to America.
Yeah.
You're going to go over to America and Canada and then Australia on your way home or whatever, aren't you? Like you say.
Because the big thing called here is the OE, isn't it? And everyone goes, oh, I came here and said, well, what's an OE? Oh, she's on her OE. And you're like,
yeah, it's a word I didn't know about that. I've never heard that.
What is it overseas?
It's overseas. No, overseas experience, isn't
or
it?
experience or expedition? What is it?
Overseas experience.
Let us know.
I'm telling you, I know.
Oh, right.
I think. Oh, I shouldn't have said that so confidently. Okay, all right. Yeah, so they can travel again.
Yes.
So without we're going to talk about that in a minute, but we can travel.
Yeah, it's getting back. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's like you can come home, and not only that, you only have to need to come home. It's going to be 10 days at the moment, self-isolation, when you come back. So
Yeah.
you've got to allow all this extra time. So
If
it's
you're
not
not
as easy as what you imagine
Brian.
it's going to be.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Sorry. If you're not vaccinated, I just had a little pin in my thing. If you're not vaccinated, then you still have to MIQ it, don't you? And you have to pay for that.
Yeah. So if you're not vaxxed, you can still travel.
Yeah.
But you've just got to go through all the tests, the negative tests,
Yeah.
and then you're allowed to travel. It just means that wherever you're going to go, more than likely you're going to have to jump into MIQ, wherever that is, and then when you come back, so you're going to have to allow even more time. Up to 20 days, isn't it? Sometimes on nowadays with the Omicron or the new variants. And
Yeah.
Yep.
So, that's a huge positive, isn't it?
Yes.
And we're going to talk to you about our plans in number 7. But first of all, number 6, and I think this is really important to be aware of this and to talk about it. I don't want to be depressing or anything like that, but the mental health, the effect this has had, rather, on people's mental health is huge.
It's huge.
It's
It really
not
is.
to be underestimated.
Yeah.
Including our own,
Yeah,
I know you said about it's been great the last 2 years, and don't get me wrong, it has.
When I say great, it's just been, you haven't had to plan anything. Then when I say that, when I say great, it's like you're quite aware of what's going on, but I don't want to bring that side of it up because we're trying to give it a bit upbeat because it's going upwards, isn't it? The people I feel really sorry for is the kids. I really do,
Yeah.
because they're you know,
The
these
teenagers.
even younger than that, Liz, because they're growing up in this world where they see the mums and dads or you know, parents or guardians signing into places, masking up, going in, and it just becomes normal to them. They don't think of anything else, and it's just like, life isn't like that, really, is it? Like, you know, and you know, and teenagers sitting there, you know, in all this isolation that we had, all this stuff, and not being able to go out and meet friends, can't go to things, or you know, most you know, festivals were off, and this and the other. You know, WOBAD for the last 2 years, the World of Music and Dance in New Plymouth has been off.
Yeah.
You know, and that side of it's just kind of sad, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I know Sonny went to Soundsplash not that long back, didn't he? Back up in Hamilton around the New Year period, and it was just like, oh my God, it's so good to see. And then, you know, it all went sideways afterwards because the spread of the virus again. Like,
you had
you know,
to get all tested and everything. Didn't
yeah,
you
you did.
But
We had to go in for tests and all sorts, and self-isolate.
I think it's just been. It's been one of those things, and I didn't realise this, and I don't want to put a downer, and I'm not trying to be.
It's not.
I don't want to be depressing
just want
or
to be
anything.
aware of
I'm
it,
just being
that's all.
honest, like, you know, with you. But it was just, I didn't realise how much it had affected us. So basically, since COVID has happened, like we said, we've got family overseas. Brian's godfather passed away. You know, he's had another uncle passed away. My brother got sick. Brian's dad is, you know, is in his 80s, and it's just, you're kind of thinking, oh please, don't anything bad happen. Please don't, you know, we can't get back. So please just all stay safe and don't anyone else die, or you know what I mean, Brian?
Yeah.
And it has that effect on you that you are just living in that state of anxiety, I suppose. I don't want to say you live in a state of anxiety, but it's there in the background all the time, isn't it?
It's not the norm, and that's so it's that, and you know, that has a long-term effect on you, doesn't it? On your mental health.
And
like,
I didn't
you know?
realise
it's never
this.
going to get back to normal.
No, because here's the thing as well. We are very, very, very aware that we live in the best country in the world. To me and Brian, New Zealand, you can't get better than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
And this country has kept us safe. It's kept our children safe. It's kept the country itself. I know there's a lot of going on, but for us personally, it has felt safe. And, you know, my daughter said the other day, she said, there's no I in team, Mum. You know, it's just like, it makes me feel so bloody proud, honestly. It really does. And it's just, so we are aware of that. And you are quite aware that you can't go around complaining that you can't go home and see your uncle, or you can't go home and see your brother. You don't want to complain about that, because there are people in much, much worse situations. So you don't want to complain, and we don't. We try not to. We try to keep everything positive.
Try and keep it positive.
We do.
You might sound as if you're uncaring at times, but it's not. It's not that. It's just we're trying to give you positivity so you can make forward. You know, there's a huge divide all around the world with people bouncing off each other. You should be doing this, should be doing that, you should be, you know, and it's just, we just need to come together now.
We do.
And it's just like, be as one again, and just like, come on, let's move forward.
Yeah.
Really, really do.
And so just to tie up the mental health thing, it was like, when we watched the announcement of Jacinda saying, you know, the borders were going to open again, I just burst out crying. And I was like, why are you crying, Liz? This is a happy time.
Yeah.
Why
because
are you crying?
It's the relief.
It is, Brian.
Knowing that it's over. It's not so much over, but it's moving forward again.
In the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth. It was just... And I think so many people are going to come across this. I'm sure I'm not the only one. That is just like, oh my God, I didn't realise how much it was actually affecting me.
Yeah, exactly.
Until someone's gone, go on then, you can go.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know...
It's more that side of it with us, the fact that yes, you can actually go and come back.
Yeah.
You know, and I know in Europe you can still move around and stuff like that, and you know, most countries still you can get in and out if you're all vaxxed and passed up. Like, you know?
Yeah, because that's the other thing as well, is you see our family in England, and they're like, you know, they're going to Spain on holiday, or they're flying over to wherever, France, or you know, and you think, and I know, it's dangerous, and you're going to get COVID and all the rest of it, but they're doing that stuff. You know?
But there's football matches that are on, Lowe's, that, you know, Champions League matches are on, and away supporters are there, and they're flying in and out. Like, you know, so
suddenly we've become very fearsome of, is that the right word? Fearful of travelling, because when you tell people that you're going to travel, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's like, oh, but you'll get COVID. You know, you're going to get it, and you're going to, and this is going to happen to you. And it's just like, and we're well travelled. You know, we know what we've travelled a lot, but in your mind, it's almost like a conditioning thing, isn't it? That it's like, oh, so I'm just so excited to get over that and just take that leap and just go. You know, just come on.
Yep.
Come on.
Come on, New Zealand. Come on, the world.
So, which leads us to our last and final point, which is number 7, which is our plans for 2022.
Yep.
And we weren't going to say anything about this because it's like, well, who wants to know that? But actually, I think you're going to want to know this because we're going to take you with us.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So tell the story of what you did for my birthday.
Okay, so Liz's birthday, her 50th was in 2021, February 2021. And, you know, we thought things would happen sooner than what they did. So 26 years ago now, so 25 years ago in 2021, me and Liz did a trip. We were living in London, had enough. We wanted to get down to Greece. We had an old Peugeot 205 car. We drove from France to Greece. Took quite a few weeks. Camped in the Greek islands.
Camped all the way along, didn't we?
We camped all the way down there. A lot of freedom camping that we weren't supposed to do, but it was such good fun. You know, did it on a shoestring. We got there, we were going to work in bars and things, and then we decided that we wouldn't. I remember phoning the bank manager up from a red hot coin box, telephone box, it was all telephone boxes back then, speaking to him saying, please can I have an overdraft of £1,000 please? And he said, yeah, sure. He said, why is that? I said, I'm just I've got a few things I'm working on at home, just need a bit of money and this, that and the other. So we had the time off, didn't we?
Yeah. So anyway, we did this big trip.
That's my story. You asked me.
No, actually, I just wanted you to say.
Okay.
So for my birthday.
So we're just going to recreate the trip.
Yeah,
that same trip. So, you know, I've bought an old car again, an old Peugeot 205, no air conditioning, no power steering, and we're going to recreate the trip.
It's in England waiting for us.
Yeah, it's sitting there, and it's...
Brian's birthday present to me. He bought himself a little car.
Oh, yes. Yes. A Peugeot 205 GTI.
So we've had this trip planned that we go to England, we pick up the car, and then we drive from England to Greece.
Yes.
We're going to meet the kids over there. It's their 18th and their 21st birthday. We're flying them over to Greece. We're going to have a month in Greece together. The kids are then just going to go and do some stuff in England and then fly back to New Zealand. And me and Brian are going to make our way back from Greece all the way through to England, Ireland, Scotland, and just take you with us.
Take you with us. So you're going to get to go on a road trip and see what it's like in Europe in 2022, you know, after COVID.
So we also need you to say whether you want us to vlog it or whether you want us to podcast it and just show you around, or what do you want us to do, or if there's any ideas that you've got for that trip.
It's a huge road trip. You know, and we're visiting some great places. We're kind of staying away from the big cities.
Are we definitely going?
Yes.
Are we?
Because
we haven't booked it yet.
No, we haven't booked it, but we'll let you know next week if we can't book it.
Do you know why we haven't booked it yet? Because we're still a little bit, aren't we? Be honest.
Well, we've got to rent the house.
But we're still a little bit
So we're renting the house,
scared.
which will help pay for the trip.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of work to do on the house because, you know, it's it just needs to tidying up for renters coming in.
Yeah, and we work online, so we can work wherever we are in the world. So it's not like a holiday. It's going to be, we are going to be working and doing our...
So,
If you want to know more about that, just ask me as well, because I've never told you actually, you know, what we do. But anyway, so that's that. And so that's our trip. And I just wanted to, actually, by putting it out to the boob tube and telling them that we're going to do it, it might make us get our bum into gear and think, come on, let's do it.
Let's go ahead and do it,
Because I did say to Brian, should we just leave it till 2023 and then everything's calmed down? But it's like, how long are you going to wait, you know? It's like, we want to do it now, but like I was saying before, Bri, about that fear thing and the mental health thing, I'm not saying like, you know, I don't really know what I'm saying, but I'm just saying there is that thing in your mind.
Well, it is. It's a lot of people are just, you're crazy at the moment doing that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, it's out there. You know, if we get ill, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah,
we really will,
do. Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. You know, we can't do any more than we want to do, can we, Bri?
No, we can't. And it's like, we're both fit and healthy. So, you know, fingers crossed. Well, I am. I don't know about
What about
you.
the lift? Get out. Get out. You're too
That's why
heavy.
we got out, because we could walk up the next floor.
Okay, so that just about covers everything, doesn't it? I've really enjoyed this. It's been lovely,
it's been
hasn't
good.
it? It's been really nice. Have you got anything else that you want to say, or?
No,
okay.
No.
All right right then, thank you for joining us. Why do I ask you that? Because I know that you want to interrupt.
No.
What are you looking at? Why are you looking
I
at
was
my
looking in
notes?
case there was anything else that we'd kind of missed there. But no, it's just like, hey, it's time to move forward. And fingers crossed, let's go together.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And
Yes, let's do this.
Yeah, let's stop being divided. Let's get together and move on.
Yeah.
You know, all sides.
Yeah. Okay. So until next time, we're going to speak to you. We love you loads. Thank you so much for all your support. We hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, so kia kaha, stay strong and stay true.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
You know when you move to a new country and you go to a barbecue and you're all standing in the room and then you say something and then the room just goes silent and you're like, oh, shouldn't have said that. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Apparently, there are some things that you should never ever say when you live in New Zealand.
Just the atmosphere at the table, it was just bang.